Hi kindergarten, happy red and gold day. It's a little bit rainy on my side of town, so I'm wearing my red rain jacket and gold rain boots. Can you see them? I hope you're all in your red and gold outfits too. Although it's a little bit of a bummer that we won't get to be in school this red and gold day, we have a lot of fun activities planned today that are spirited and exciting. One of them is that we are going to be writing letters to our 4th grade big sisters. So today in writing, we're going to be thinking back to everything we learned on Friday about letter writing, and we're going to make a special letter for our big sisters. Now, when you think back to the letters that we wrote last week, what is one thing you remember? I'm covering this part with my hand. How do letters start out? Who remembers? I'll give you a couple seconds of think time. If you were thinking that letters start out with Dear blank, you're correct. I wrote on mine Dear Sister, but you would probably want to write your big sister's name. And then, like we talked about on Friday in our challenge section, when there's an end of a Dear blank in a letter, you put a comma after it. So Dear blank, comma, it's this little guy right here. Looks like a little slash line, like almost like a little backward C. And you put it after your greeting in your letter. So this is your greeting. Dear sister, or dear Vanessa, or dear Kia, or whatever your 4th grade sister's name is, comma. And then in the big part of our letter, this is called the body of our letter. This is the greeting, and this is the body, and this is the closing. So in the body, which is kind of like the big main part of the letter, we are going to write at least 3 sentences. So if you would like to write 4 or 5 or 6 sentences to your big sister, awesome, go for it. But at the least, I want you to write 3 sentences. And here's your extra challenge. At some point in your letter, at the ends of your sentences, I want you to practice each of the punctuation we've talked about. So one sentence should have a, starts with a period, exactly. One sentence at the end of it should have a, remember what it's called when you're wondering something? That little motion? Right, a question mark. And one sentence should have an exclamation mark. Exclamation marks are my favorite punctuation because I think it really makes your writing jazzy and exciting for your reader. But at some point in your body of your letter, I want you to have a period. Do it with me. Period, question mark, and exclamation mark. Period, question mark, exclamation mark. So that is your goal for your 3 sentences in the body of your letter. So then once you've done your greeting with the comma, the body of your letter with at least 3 sentences with a period, question mark, and exclamation mark, you're going to write your closing. And if you remember from last week, a closing is this thing that we say at the end of our letters, like sincerely, or love, or from, or XOXO, something like that. That's called the closing. So you would write your closing here. I said sincerely on mine, and then underneath it you would write your name. So if you set your paper up like this, with kind of a smaller line on top, some lines in the middle for the body, and then 2 little lines at the bottom, that could be a great way of keeping your letter organized, but you can draw your lines however you want. What's really important is that the greeting goes on top, the body goes in the middle, like the middle of your body, and the closing goes at the end. And the things you're going to remember are your commas at the greeting and the closing, and 3 sentences in the body of the letter. And then the coolest part is after we do this project, your grown-up can take a picture of them and send them to Miss Jones, and she will find a way to get them to your big sister. So they will actually see it. I did not decorate my letter because I ran out of time, but I think your letters would look extra beautiful with some illustrations. You could draw something you've been doing. You could draw you and your big sister, or some ice cream, or some unicorns. The choice is yours. But after you write your 3 sentences, I want you to make sure you draw a beautiful picture to go with it. Capiche? Hopefully caposh. Have fun, friends.